What's up, everybody? Just doing a little bit of a live stream pre-funk right now. Get things going. Not an actual pre-funk. Can you guys let me know how things look and how things sound? We just want to, the beginning of a live stream is always awkward because you want to make sure everything's looking right and sounding good. Let's see. Love it. Sounds good. Little Rock in the house. All good. Thanks, guys. That's awesome. Thank you for letting me know that. That puts my mind at ease. I don't get nervous in the camera, in front of the camera anymore. I get nervous about like whether the technology behind or in front of me is working. And so it's nice. It's always nice to know. Coming in from Australia. That's awesome. I have yet to memorize, like I know what time it is in the UK, but I've yet to memorize the time difference between here and Australia. And we do have a lot of viewers typically in the Oceania area between Australia and New Zealand. I'm always surprised by how many. A lot of questions coming there because they don't get the same like Hisense TVs that we do. Or the same any kind of TVs. A lot of times, like the specs are different for that region than they are for the US and even the UK. Sometimes there's a little bit of a disconnect there. Somebody calling? No, absolutely not. Go away. Good to see you guys too. It's been a while. Yeah, Phil's over here saying hi as well. Good old Phil Collins. And let's see. I just want to let you know, I'm going to try to, TCL only in that region. Okay. I knew it was one of the two. I just wasn't sure. Let's see. Yeah, Nick, good to see you. We can definitely collab on some physical media stuff because I'm about to start talking a lot about physical media. You know why, right? Sony's decision to go discless for PlayStation sent a message, didn't it? A little bit of a rumble through things. And I feel like we've been talking about the death of the disc for like over a decade, right? And it just hasn't happened. It hasn't gone away. I'm optimistic it's going to stick around for a little bit longer. But I mean, it's inevitable, right? We've gone digital in so many different ways that I think it's going to dwindle a little bit. You can still there's still a retro market for CDs and even cassette tapes. Vinyl, thankfully, is still going strong after a resurgence. But I'm not sure about the Blu-ray disc, which is why I want to talk about Kaleidoscape's least expensive player and where I think Kaleidoscape needs to go if they want to own the high quality movie delivery in the home, not just for wealthy people with really elaborate setups, but for everyone, right? Like it's not hard. Let's give, I know that they have to pay big licensing fees, but if they get enough people on board, I think they can make those licensing fees without making the product super expensive. So that's going to be kind of a theme. By the way, so a couple of things. You know what? I'm going to answer a question I see right now before I tell you what's about to happen here. Somebody asked if I ever do any vlogging when I'm out with my trumpet. I actually get more questions about the musical side of my career than you might think. And I try. I start and I like doing the let's go on a gig with me or whatever. And, I record packing up a ridiculous amount of gear for a trumpet player. And I get as far as the gig and like hauling the stuff up to the big house overlooking like the amazing vineyards and other amazing, beautiful places that I play. And then I stopped there because like an iPhone close to a trumpet player, doesn't matter how good a trumpet player you are, it sounds awful. What I really want to do is set up my iPhone or a camera, out of ways and record that way, but that's weird at a wedding. You can't do that. So I would need somebody else to do it. That means a band member would have to leave. And that's also not ideal. So I haven't figured out how to do it. I'd like to do it for people who are curious. I would do that over on my other channel, Caleb Loves Tech. I'd like to revive that channel and do some stuff. But yeah. So here's the deal. A couple things that are going to happen. We're starting the live stream in earnest right now. Zeke is going to join me in a little bit. He's going to help read off some of the questions, but also we both have some commentary about the main topic for this live stream, and then we're going to open it up for questions, right? The addressing the main topic for the live stream, I'm actually going to do a read down, like when I do a normal video, right? So I'm going to be talking to you guys, but we're also going to be recording at the same time so that I can get a clean copy of this basically op-ed, opinion editorial, and cut that out and publish that on YouTube as its own video for all the folks that don't make the live stream and for everybody else, I think, who needs to know. It's you're going to see it first here, but then we're going to publish it elsewhere. And so, yeah, what you're going to do is kind of see me trying to get through a script. If I screw up, I'm going to start over. So you're going to see what it's like when I record a video in real time. Because like I said, I'm going to get this as clean as I can for Zeke. But if I screw up, I'm going to start over so that it can be clean in the main video. We're recording with two different cameras. As soon as that's done, Zeke's going to sit down and we're going to talk about that for a little bit. And then, yeah, we'll just open it up for questions. We need to keep it to about an hour because I'm going to let you guys know right now, something is going to happen on September 1st that I think is a really big deal. And you need to tune in because I've got an exclusive and I'm genuinely stoked about it. So yeah, plan on taking a look at what's happening on the channel on September 1st. It also happens to be the first day of CEDIA. I'm covering the CEDIA conference this year, and that's going to be all about like tech we wish we could have because it's for wealthy people, but it's still fun to look at all these custom home theaters and everything. So yeah, we're going to get to the main video here. And like I said, if I screw up, I'm starting over. Quick clap to, oh, yeah, Zeke, you got something to say? Yeah.
I started recording while you were kind of talking to the people for a second. Would it be okay if I started new tape? Do you think that'll...
No, I don't actually know. I would say let's not.
Let's not?
Let's not. Just to be careful. I know you can, but when you see me, when you see me clap, you know that we're about to start. So you can just cut all the A-roll out. All right, you guys ready? Am I ready? I don't know. We'll figure out. But here's the thing that I wanted to tell you that I learned and I wanted you guys to hear about. All right. Hope you think it's good. We'll see. We're going to find out. You're going to tell me live, and I can't wait to see your reactions. All right, here we go. Well, folks, it finally happened. After 15 years of reviewing TVs, I screwed up and did the unimaginable. Fortunately, I learned a lot from it, and as it turns out, so can you. I've long suspected that two units of the same model and size of TV could vary in performance. We've talked a lot about that on the channel. And considering what just happened, I'm not only sure that that is the case, but the variance could be more significant than I thought. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Caleb Dennison, and I'm still having a hard time facing this, but I figured I would face it with all of you rather than just suffer a loss. I wanted to turn lemons into lemonade. And then I started to think about how to do that, and the answer suddenly became abundantly clear. So first, the screw up. I reviewed the same TV twice without realizing that's what I was doing. Zeke actually saved me, my producer, realizing that we had already reviewed this TV when he was about to go and do the edit. And that is really unfortunate. See, this is something we're going to have to cut out because I lost my place. Yeah, so here's the thing. I don't know how I managed to forget that I'd already reviewed this TV. At the time, I chose it to be the next on the review roster, but I did. Fortunately, though, there's a silver lining. By reviewing this same TV twice, both Zeke, my videographer and editor, and I witnessed a stark example of how two different units of the same make, model, and screen size TV can look significantly different. That suggests that from one TV to the next, your TV may or may not do HDR as well as the next person's, or it may not eliminate artifacts as well. In my defense, though, and I swear I'm not being defensive, this is all on me. I know that, I admit that, I acknowledge that. But to try to rationalize this a little bit, this year has been my busiest ever because I'm not just making as many videos as I've been able to make, I'm also running the business side of things on my own. And transparently, I had no idea how much time was going to be involved. Time and effort, all of that. I'm working on getting some help, and relief is on the horizon, I hope. But the other contributing factor is that the original TV I reviewed had a rather sudden basic hardware failure, not related to picture quality. So it was sent back and a new unit replaced it. So when I was deciding between one TV and another for the next review, I picked a TV that was brand new in the box, and the box looked brand new and showed no other signs of ever having been touched. So nothing set off any alarm bells for me. Anyway, I tested this TV more thoroughly than I ever had tested a TV before because I thought up some new ways to get some new information out of the measurements. I'm talking nights and weekends here, right? I spent double the time I normally do writing the review because I'm trying a new review template, and it took a lot of work since I'm not used to doing it that way. And then I had one of the most unfortunate A-roll recording sessions of my career. In other words, I spent untold hours on something that will never see the light of day. If you know what, I want to do something over there, Zeke, and live audience. Let's see. And then I had one of the most unfortunate A-roll recording sessions of my career. It took me 57 minutes to read down what should be a 23-minute video. In other words, I spent untold hours on something that will never see the light of day. It felt like a waste. It was a waste. I mean, I don't have a TV review running this Friday because of that mistake, and I'm not happy about that because I like to give you guys a TV review every Friday if I can. But then it struck me that I and Zeke actually arrived at a notably different conclusion with the second TV compared to the first TV. I looked into it more closely, and there were several variations I'd never expected. The most standout issue was that the HDR sparkle that we got on the second TV, the specular highlights. And remember, neither Zeke nor I remember doing the original review at the time. Well, that HDR sparkle just was not there. The TV tested very well. It had really impressive peak brightness measurements, but I noticed that it was clipping well below its demonstrated brightness. So not only was it not doing what I expected it to do in tests, but so not only was it not doing what I expected. See, this is the kind of thing I'm talking about. I screw up and we end up with a 57-minute take. So not only was it not doing what I expected it to from the test, but that was borne out in the real world performance. And at a time when there's a bigger gap between the measurements and real world performance than ever before, I love you guys for putting up with this. And that came as an extra big surprise. I then compared the measurement charts from each unit and noticed that the color gamut coverage was different. Some brightness readings were different. Default grayscale results were a little bit different. And my commentary about subjective aspects was different enough without having to rely on my memory to know that they were definitely real. Now, I'll explain why this is important, but first I want to explain why I'm not naming names and models. First, the replacement TV was sent so that I could perform wait, did I just read that wrong? Okay. First, the replacement TV was not sent so that I could perform a consistency test. And it's my practice to let the brands that send me these TVs for review, and it's my practice to let the brands that send me these TVs for review for editorial evaluation. Got to start over again. And it's my practice to let the brands that send me these review units for editorial evaluation to let them know what I'll be doing with those TVs. Second, I'm not comfortable singling out a brand on something like this. If I'm going to identify the brand and maybe the model, I need to do that with all the brands I'm reviewing. And I'm just not going to be able to get second units sent for that particular purpose from any of the other brands. It's hard enough to get the first one in the first place. What I can do and feel compelled to do is speak to the experience I had and tell you what I think the implications are, what I think it means to you, and to just generally enhance awareness of something I've long suspected was true, but of which I have just now seen clear evidence. There's more than just variance in screen uniformity. It's not just about dirty screen effect and panel banding. It's not about how many dead pixels there may be. It's not about how one TV might need slightly different white balance and grayscale adjustment than the next unit of the same make, model, and size. It's about variance in measured performance. It's about variance in measured performance aspects that, frankly, I did not see coming. I do not think, though, that this is cause for alarm. I do think, however, that it's never been clear how important it is that you all check out the reviews from multiple respected viewers who are using similar standards and practices and look at the average of the experiences that these reviewers, including myself, are having with these TV. More specifically, the higher end models, because the more you pay for a TV, the more critical it is that you get what you paid for. So look for published Kalman charts or at least quality explanation of the results that they observed. Measurements aren't everything, but they are a solid foundation for the framework of a reliable review. Look at the averages of the reviews across all the different reviewers and use that to inform your buying decision. If you see a lot of disparate results, then that's cause for concern, either because the methodology of the reviewers was not quite right, or more likely, the variance of the TVs was at play. Either way, you need to consider a large sample size of information so that you head into your decision with the proper expectations. And with that, I want to hear from all of you. What has your experience been like? Have you ever gotten a TV that didn't look at all like what you expected based on what you'd seen before? Not your interpretation of a description, but what you'd seen before? If so, what was that like for you? Have you ever seen a review that was such an outlier that you didn't know what to make of it or were even confused? Let me know what your research and shopping experiences have been like lately. I'm curious to know if what I've observed is prevalent among the public. The more of you who share your perspective, the better, because the more data we have to work with, the more reliable the conclusions will. I knew I was going to do it on this one. Because the more data we have to work with, the more reliable the conclusions we draw from it will be. So with that, let's get going. Zeke, how about you tell me about your read on some of the comments that are coming in, and we'll do an ending for that video a little bit later. Kind of looking at everybody. Say hi to Zeke.
How's it going?
Hopefully you can hear him okay.
There I am.
We're
kind of be leaning back and forth a little bit.
I could have.
You know what? Laptop here.
There's no reason I can't scoot over, dude.
I guess so.
That. Why didn't I think of that before? All right. So now that you've heard that, I'd like to know what you think. We can talk about it a little bit, but I'd also like to open things up for other questions and comments and all that other stuff. We have until well, I said noon. I figured we would do like an hour-long live stream, so we're in it.
Yeah.
For another 45 minutes. To be honest with you, I thought I was going to finish that at like 11:20, 11:25.
Kind of breeze through it.
A little bit. I made what, 3-4 mistakes? That's actually pretty good. Sometimes Zeke knows. Sometimes, well, like I said, you were about to have to cut out like 37 minutes of B-roll before.
Yeah, there's a couple comments in here talking about the edits. It's kind of funny.
Like what?
Oh, they're saying like Zeke saves the edits.
Oh, Zeke saves the day. Zeke saves the day. I will say though, when we're at the live like conferences like CES and CEDIA, something happens, dude. Something just clicks, and it's like one take wonder sometimes.
He's a superhero.
Yeah, I don't know why I come through when we're live like that. I think it's the pressure of everybody looking at me because I can see them looking at me. People line up. That's not bragging.
They're kind of like
they line up for a lot of people, right? They just line up. They want to know. Like all it takes is like 4 people being onlookers, and then everybody else is like, "What's going on over here? What's the big deal? What are we gonna hear?"
Yeah, they're like, I know that voice.
There's also that happened on a video that we just shot here in Portland. At a random spot, like some dude came out of some industrial building. He was like, "Dude, I heard your voice and I just wanted to come say hi." And I love that. It doesn't happen very often, though. Not gonna lie. All right, questions. What are we working with?
I am checking into our questions right now. Let's see what we got. I'm gonna scroll back just a little bit just to see what you guys are saying. Let's see if there's anything good to tap into. Now, what do you guys think of what Caleb was talking about? Like,
yeah. Hopefully we're gonna get. There's a little bit of a delay on there, but hopefully we're gonna get some comments on that. I will, while Zeke's looking right now, I will say I was so frustrated. I mean, really, like my heart sank. Zeke sent me a text message and he's like,
it was like 9 o'clock, like PM.
I kind of feel like we've seen this before. Like I was, kind of moving towards getting to bed, about to have a little ice cream before I hit the pillow. And then that text from Zeke came in and I was forlorn. Is a word that comes to mind, but like my heart sank into my stomach. And I was like, first of all, what are we going to run this Friday? Like, I want to keep to the published schedule. And then in addition to that, how did this even happen? All the time spent on that. It was just absolutely brutal. Anyway, we got any questions to answer?
Yeah. So there's a question. It says, what's the consensus on the Hisense U8R? Ratings didn't seem to like it.
Okay, I haven't reviewed it yet. It was sitting right next to the UR9, and I didn't pick it because I was like, we got to get to the flagship first. Obviously, now I regret that because the UR8 would have been the next natural thing to do. So, I look at when the TVs come in, which brands have gotten reviewed so far, and I like to change it up, go from a Samsung to a Sony to a TCL to a Hisense and so on and so forth. And yeah, the UR8 would have been the right choice to make, but I screwed up. So now it's going to have to wait because the LG G6 finally freaking showed up. That's a whole different ball of wax. Oh, yeah. And yeah, right. So, and then, UR8 just didn't do it. Yeah, but we will.
Yep. Looks like we got a super chat just came in from
Thank you,
Javier Martinez.
Yes.
It says lifestyle projectors made a significant performance leap in the past year. Do you believe that the rate of improvement will be constant moving forward?
I do. It seems like the way they're doing lighting, the way they're changing, like they're some are getting away from DLP chips. I want a clarification between when you say lifestyle projectors, are you talking about like the Anchor portable projector, or are you talking about ultra short throw projectors? Either way, I think they're going to get brighter and brighter. Maybe not by leaps and bounds, but they will get brighter. Here's the thing. They can get, no matter how bright they get, the light in the room is always going to impact contrast. And because the only way to get blacks is by not having light, right? And so anytime the display is not, or the projector is not putting light on a section of the screen, that screen is still broadcasting the light that's in the room. So the thing about projectors, the reason I don't think they'll ever replace super big screen TVs is because you still have to have some light control to get the best experience. It's definitely visible during the day now. We've definitely hit that, and even better, but it's not on the same level as a TV in terms of contrast, I think. What's the next one?
Great. So we got one that says, it's from Roman Dean. Hey, Caleb, love this little peek before the curtain. When is the TCL QML7 versus Hisense U7SG? Are you going to compare those?
Yes. So my priorities right now, actually, maybe that just needs to be a priority.
Maybe.
Right? I mean, that depends on you. I'll probably do a poll and ask what you want to see next, the LG G6 or that particular Versus video. There's the Samsung flagship micro RGB LED that I haven't reviewed yet. I'm doing a couple of RGB explainers soon, in addition to all the reviews that we're doing. So I want to be selective about the next TV video that we do. That comparison sounds like a really great idea. I think it just comes down to who wants to see more of what, right? And I know a lot of you are thinking of, a lot more of you are buying that like price tier of TV, and you want to know which the better deal is. So yeah, I can make that next. Or if you're really curious about my take on the LG G6, considering it feels like everybody's take is everywhere, and also based on what we know about what's been going on that TV, there might be more curiosity there. So we'll put together a poll and find out what people want to hear. What's the next one?
So there's been quite a few questions regarding the Bravia 7 II and kind of what's going on in the space. One specifically is, why is the Bravia 9 II thinner than the Bravia 7 II? And then also just kind of want to get your take on the Bravia 7 II.
Let me start with my take on the Bravia 7 II. Go watch my review and look at the Calman charts. One of the things that Zeke and I work really hard on is integrating those charts in the DSNITs section, because that's kind of the TV Geek section. And I feel like it's important to show the measurements that we get right off of the TV, because you can't fake that unless you use a different TV to speak to the TV that you're reviewing at the time, which is just freaking ridiculous. Anyway, what you'll notice, like the Bravia 7 Mark II, I think what people forget about Sony premium TVs is that in SDR professional mode, the default light output is 100 nits on purpose. That's because they're trying to make it look as much like one of their professional BVMs, you know, like the $20,000, $30,000 mastering monitors that are used in Hollywood. They're assuming performance in a pitch black grading suite, right? We know this because they've said that to us, right? This is the kind of stuff they tell us in Japan, right? It starts at 100 nits, and then all you have to do is mess around with the settings that have impact on the brightness, which I believe I described in that particular review. If you put peak brightness on high, for example, and what's the other one? The dimming performance from low to high or medium. What you'll find is that that TV can get up to 600 some odd nits, if my memory serves, in the SDR mode, which is plenty bright for most people. Also, you know, I see this a lot, not just with the 7 Mark II. We're seeing this weird thing sometimes where some TVs will get higher in SDR relative to their peak HDR brightness, and some TVs will get a little bit lower in SDR relative to the same peak brightness. That might be a manufacturer decision choice. That also might be how the backlights are driven. There's a lot of secret sauce that goes on behind the scenes on the TV, so we just don't know. On the Bravia 7 II, I'm going to say, watch my review, look at the charts. It's all right there. The thing that struck me about that Sony, first of all, it was bright AF, and that's why we thought, man, this thing punches way too close to the Bravia 9 II to make the upgrade compelling. It's a good problem for us. It's not a good problem for Sony, in my opinion. But yeah, that thing got plenty bright. The color gamut you'll see on there, it's good, but not as good as the best RGB TVs and even TCL's SQD stuff is doing. And you'll also see the grayscale measurements out of the box without any alteration. And the color accuracy was really great, because a lot of these TVs, to get outside of that 87, 88% BT 2020 coverage rating, is they'll go off. So the color will be less accurate, but it will be deeper into that BT 2020 space on the triangle. It'll be further out of the triangle. And so you can say it has more color volume or more color gamut coverage, but it's highly inaccurate. Sony, they follow the line straight down the line. They may be just a little bit outside the box, but it's a straight freaking line. Look at some of the other TVs and how they're doing it. It goes way like a diagonal, way off the line. So yeah, it's doing something else, but it's also highly inaccurate. Sony's math for color is fantastic. And on a Bravia 7 Mark II, I was a little surprised to see, I don't know if you guys know this, but they took the color management system out of that TV. I was really surprised to see that. But it didn't end up mattering because based on the white point and the grayscale, once we set that, we judged it based on its own, and then with our own D65 white point, sorry if I'm getting into the weeds, it did the same thing. The color math is solid on that TV. So yeah, I'm not sure what people are talking about. I did see a pretty clickable headline the other day from Andrew Robinson. I wonder if that might be what they're talking about.
There's some mention.
I haven't seen the video. I don't know what's going on there. But like I said, just I've been doing this a long time. Andrew has been too. I will say, like, something I've almost screwed up. I have screwed this up, and then I have to go back and redo a bunch of things. I forget to turn the ambient light sensor off, even though I know that's the case. By the way, all TVs ship in eco mode, period. Yeah. There's eco settings going on. You have to turn them off. I think we all know to do that now, but that ambient light sensor thing is hidden sometimes. Sometimes it's under AI. Sometimes it's under eco settings. You have to turn it off because on a high-end TV like the Hisense, not only is it adjusting the brightness based on what's in the room, it's also adjusting the color temperature. And that's why I get these wild 2-point white balance readings that I don't trust, but I can't figure out. And then, oh, stupid Caleb, I forgot to turn off the white point or the ambient light sensor. And then I have to go back and do more tests. And they take a long time because the dim readings just on my, I have a CR250 spectroradiometer, which is way more accurate and higher end than most of the colorimeters that get used. And so it's super slow at dim patches, and it just takes forever. It's a nightmare. That's the thing on the Bravia 7 Mark II. Why is it thicker than the Bravia 9 Mark II? I don't know. I think that's part of what makes the Bravia 9 Mark II more desirable and more expensive. Sony won't tell us because that is secret sauce. They've opened up a lot with these Japan trips. They've shown us a lot, but they won't tell us something like that.
Okay. Yeah, so we got quite a few questions.
Okay, so we got to go. We got to go. I'm sorry, I went too long on that.
We got some super chats too, real quick. I'll start with those since they came in just recently, but I'm going to try to scroll back a little bit to catch up on what we missed.
Yeah.
So we got a $10 in from C. Marvin. Thank you, Marvin, or C. Marvin. Can you recommend a mid to high end record player without speakers? I haven't decided if I want to connect my AV receiver. Some of my records are 33.5, 45, and 78 RPM.
So changing the speed of the turntable is going to be important. Go check out U-Turn. Their Orbit series is fantastic. I know they do 33 1/3 and 45. I'm not sure about 78. It's actually kind of hard to find a 78. Audio Technica's like $250 USB streaming turntable. I am totally blanking on the model number right now, but that's an awesome turntable that has a variable speed slide. That's a great choice. Also check out Fluence. I think Fluence, again, 33 1/3 and 45, but for the money, Fluence stuff is fantastic. I've heard it in a lot of different situations. The onboard phono preamp is passable. The one in your AVR may or may not be better. So your next upgrade would be a phono preamp if you wanted it to sound even better, or a different cartridge setup on there. What's next?
All right, so we got a couple more. From Nerds Universe 1. I mean, you may not be able to answer this completely.
I'll try.
If there's not much of a difference between the LG G6 and the LG C6H, then how come the LG G5 is considered better than the G6H?
This G5 over the C6H. Is that what you're actually asking? So if I'm confused by the question.
Why is the G5 better than the
C6?
LG G6H?
There is no G6H. There's a C6H.
Maybe they mean that.
I don't. Keep an eye on that username.
Yeah.
Look for a clarification. Clarify your question. I'd like to answer it, but I don't understand exactly what you mean. I could take a stab and say, why would you buy a C6 a G5 over a C6H or any of the new LG Radiant, Ultimate Radiant, whatever the F it is, TVs. I can't remember the market names. It's the latest generation WOLED panel. I would say it's mostly because of the design. Also because the G6 has gotten some mixed reviews in so far as low luminance, posterization. I think there's been some other stuff, and there's been updates that made some things better and apparently made some things worse. G5 is just a known quantity. It's a higher end model. You get the gallery design and the special mount in the box. And because it's a better price, honestly, in a lot of cases, because it's over a year old and closeouts are happening. So I'd say those are all criteria. Outside of that, I would need to look a little further. What's next?
Sure. Caleb, in your RGB LED explainers, can you give us a quick preview now of your thoughts on the one diode RGB LED, such as in the UR8, UR9, versus the 3 diode RGB, which like in the UX?
One diode, I think what you mean is one IC chip, right? Because Hisense's backlight, if I'm not mistaken, is actually RGB, right? The question is, when does it go to white and use the color filter versus, mixing the RGB for a specific color? I think it's a matter of, can we drive the red, green, and blue independently, like in every way, right? In terms of individual brightness, or not. As with all things, like the more control you have, the better the end result's going to be. You're going to have more accurate colors, more color purity, in some cases better color brightness, because you're having more specific control over the red, green, and blue diodes, right? So that's one of the things that Sony did ahead of everybody else, was they were having greater bit depth, like 22-bit control over the brightness of the more granular brightness change. And so you could get a smoother gradation and a better overall HDR presentation with more contrast. Yeah. What's next?
Okay, so Andrew Robinson had dropped in a comment real quick. He basically said that all eco modes and dynamic modes were turned off in my evaluation. Caleb.
I'm not surprised. Yeah. I'm not surprised. Like I said, Andrew Robinson has been doing this a long time. He knows what he's doing. I mentioned that I forgot the ambient light sensor, because like sometimes all professional reviewers may make a goof and then have to go back and redo stuff. But that's the thing, is I have no doubt that Andrew Robinson had his settings correctly. Also, no matter what gear you have, like the longer you've used that gear, you know how it responds and reacts, and you know exactly what margin of error might be. Not everybody needs to use a spectroradiometer to get good results from a TV. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't seen that video. I don't know what's going on. I responded to some of the questions that were in there. What I do know is that I have started out going, why is this TV so freaking dim? Because I'm doing most of that testing in a dark room. And it's because oftentimes a super bright TV will squash the brightness so it doesn't hurt your eyes. But yeah, like I said, SDR peak brightness in professional mode on a Sony TV is always targeted at 100 nits, because mastering suite or whatever. And then they kind of go up from there. You can get, I got up to 650 some odd nits in SDR. That was on a 10% window. I can't remember what the full screen brightness was, but again, check out my charts. Those are just the readings I got, and that's all I can really speak to.
Yeah. Okay, so this one's kind of like a suggestion, maybe. So, Ginger Cat Dad says that I would like a video explaining what I'm looking at with the charts on the D's Nits section.
You're not the first person to say that. I want to do that video.
Yeah.
It's going to be in the weeds. It's not going to perform well. I will lose money. I'm willing to do that. But it's hard to prioritize it right now, because I just launched this business. We're like 9 months in.
Yeah.
We're getting to a good place now. It takes a while to spool things up, right? And that's where we've been building a financial buffer so that we're safe, and can continue to do this for as long as we need to or want to, which is forever, right? I want to do this forever. Zeke does too. He won't say that, but he does. And so, yeah, between trying to be fiscally responsible, well, that's it, fiscally responsible in multiple different ways. I can't prioritize a video that's not going to perform well. I'll tell you this, if you wanted me to just record it with my phone, mistakes and everything, and show you, I'll do that. I'll do that. You can do an over the shoulder with me and we can do that. But if you want a more polished video that's not as long and easier to follow, then that's something that Zeke gets involved with, and that takes time and money, and I can't prioritize it just yet. I do those kind of videos when I have some wiggle room, right? And not quite yet.
Yeah, we got a ton of videos kind of lined up already at the point.
Yeah, we've got all kinds of videos lined up, and that's one of them.
Yeah, for sure.
Next.
Alrighty, so it's where was it? It kind of moved on me.
Oh, the air conditioner came on. I may have to pop out to go turn that off.
If you want,
let me. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna take a second to just kind of like look through you guys' questions. If you have anything that's on your mind right now, I'm looking right at the chat. So let's see. We got a classy in here. People asking to, yeah, keep them simple if you can. But if you know, okay. So Caleb, we got one here. It says, are the clips 7s too the sweet spot? I love the previous series of the 5, 7s, and 9s.
Yeah, I mean, if you watch my review on that, I landed on the 7s this time. I like the 9s better the time before that with the first gen. And I wanted to like the 9s more this year because they have balanced, XLR inputs, and I just geek out over that. As far as this year, the Bravia 7, Klipsch 7 II, too many 7.2s and Mark 2s and whatever. God damn it. 9 II. What was I going to say? Yeah, there's a sweet spot in the Gen 2 line. Like I said, I had mixed results with the Dirac part. I finally settled into a sweet spot. It took a bit of adjustment. There is I only talked about the 3 mic placement that the app provides. You can use a PC to do a more elaborate Dirac evaluation. I suppose that I could publish the results from that. I just figured most of you are never going to do that, right? So I want to use what's provided in the box, and that's what was provided in the box. And so those results are what we talked about. I got some pretty freaking great results. Like the vocals were uncongested. They came in very clear and present. Those speakers, boy, if you get them, even if you don't get them set up just perfectly, pinpoint center for anything that's mixed to the center. I heard stuff outside the boundary of the speaker. There's a lot to like there, but it's Klipsch, right? It's like rock and roll, hard punch and slam in the bass, as opposed to, super linear extension as you go down. I want to talk about that. I did describe the speakers as linear, and that was not correct. They definitely had bumps and curves to the sound. I don't measure speakers, at least not yet, but you can hear it, right? I can hear it in the stuff that I've recorded and other people have recorded. They're not linear. They're shaped. It's not a Harman curve, but it's Klipsch's shape. You got to be into that sound, I guess. But that said, it's not like a pair of Cornwalls, right? That you've thrown your own amplification on. You need to know what you're getting into with those things. I think they're fun. I have fun with them.
They're nice. Yeah.
Bottom line, fun.
I'd take a pair of any 3.
Yeah.
Any of the 3.
Yep. Shut up, Siri. Next.
All right. So there's a question here. It's does the wall color behind your TV matter for improving your viewing experience, or I'd imagine lights or anything like that too?
I mean, I don't want to spend too much time on this one. It changes things. If you have backlights on your TV, of course, how those reflect. A lot of people want to use something like an Ambilight or a static LED strip as a sort of a bias light, so that your eyes don't constrict and then open up and then constrict again when something bright in HDR happens from an otherwise dark scene. I would not. I don't know. I can't really say that just changing the wall color behind the TV makes a huge difference unless it's during the day and it's white and it's reflecting a bunch of light back at you. Then I can see it making a difference. In the evening, light control lamps, probably not that much.
All right, next question. Caleb, have you made any videos showing the best settings for Hisense TVs?
Nope, not yet. When we screwed up with a TV, we started looking at all the different settings videos opportunities that we still had. And Hisense was one that we hadn't done yet. There's a couple more too. I think we've done Samsung and LG so far. We have not done Sony. We have not done
I think we did Sony one a while back.
Okay, sorry. No, we did LG and TCL then. Anyway, there's like 3 brands that we haven't touched yet. And we were looking at like, well, we have all 3 brands in house. Why don't we just do a settings video? Right. And it turned out we had to do something different. Y'all will see on Friday. We put together a fun video. I'll just tell you, it's how to get rid of an old TV. It's fun and it's full of some good ideas. Yep. And so I think you'll enjoy that one. We decided to bump that out to Friday instead of grabbing like the LG G6, setting that up, and then or no, not LG, TCL or one of the other TVs that we haven't done the settings video for.
Right on. So here is another question. What are your thoughts on the LG Flip OLED panels that were announced last week? Did you get word on that?
I didn't get to see those.
Yeah.
I've been buried, guys. I'm not even joking. I've been buried. We have so much going on. We're heading off to CEDIA. We've got sponsor inclusions. I'm trying to get away from the fully sponsored videos and just to these short inclusions to support the channel. Right. In addition to the affiliate stuff. And I've just been slammed. Also looking for help, both from a channel manager perspective and a second videographer. We lost Rich to Intel again. So it's the second time that's happened to me. Rich would have to take that job. It'd be freaking crazy not to. So yeah, I haven't seen that. I'm sorry, I can't comment on that for you.
It's all good. All right, so we got a message here from one of our members from 10 months. This is Cinema Tramp. Shout out to you. Thanks for the entertainment. What is your opinion on the 98-inch Bravia 7.2 versus the 85-inch Bravia 9.2 sitting from 13 feet away? They also said the red push on the 7.2 kind of bugs me with no CMS.
Red push? Yeah, I mean, we are seeing that with RGB, right? I did not notice it dramatically affecting the skin tones, though. No, it's not like the skin. No, we did. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, we did the old Spears and Munsell disc with all the different girls, different skin tones, and then the Pantone chart right next to them. Wait, is that the one where we pulled out the new monitor and did the?
It was which one did we compare to the S95H? Because I think that was the other one we were kind of comparing. It must have been. I mean, I would imagine it would be the OLED, right? Like, I don't know.
So, but the question was 7 at a larger size versus 9 at a smaller size, and I would say if you want the bigger TV, go with the bigger TV. Yep. They're that close. The number of people who are going to benefit from the 9.2 like that. And I just came out with you asked where I was like 9 times out of 10, the answer is the bigger TV for you folks. If you are super, super picky and you just want the absolute best, no matter what the margin of improvement is from one to the other, go ahead and get the smaller, higher performance, smaller screen size TV. Otherwise, 9 times out of 10, bigger TV.
Yeah, it turns out that was the 9.2 versus the S95H. Apparently.
Oh, okay.
Says,
I love that you guys remembered that.
Yeah, I would have to double check myself, but I think they're probably right.
I love that you mentioned that. Yeah.
Alrighty, so I'm taking a look here. With Panasonic leaving the TV market and Sony partially selling to TCL, are you worried that quality and reliability will take a hit?
Great question. Has Panasonic exited fully? I think they just made an announcement of what they're making available in the US this year. Oh. The Z whatever B, Z95B,
something like that.
Last year's OLED is coming back, so they didn't issue a new model, kind of like Sony. But my understanding is that you will be able to buy it in the US along with some other less expensive TVs. So I'm not sure about a Panasonic exit yet. I know about the whole, Skyworth acquisition, which is way more serious than what the Sony TCL partnership. I'm not worried about the Sony TV quality going down. Not in the next 3, 4, 5 years at least. I've heard about what that's going to involve, and I'm not worried about that. Not even a little bit. They're going to remember when we went to Japan and they took a dirty screen and they undirtied it by analyzing the screen and changing the dirty spots so that it matched the undirty spots. That kind of stuff is going to continue. That's why Sony's panels are not more consistent. They don't have better panels. They have better processing. And they do more at the assembly line than most manufacturers. I think that will continue. I don't know what's going to happen with Panasonic because Skyworth for me is an unknown quantity. I don't know anybody there. I don't know how they behave. I am worried. I've been worried. I mean, we were lucky to get Panasonic back. I don't know how long they'll stay.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So this one here is something I'm kind of interested in too. It's kind of interesting. Caleb, is it possible maybe with a calibrator to have an S95H mimic the Sony color look, since in theory it's more mathematical? I would love for TFST on my S95H.
I believe the answer is yes. And the reason why is because it's not so calibrating a TV is not down to just getting the best measurements. When they do this at the TV shootout, they've got the BVM right there, and they do something called perceptual matching. And so they will they want all the TVs to have an equal shot. They're all being compared to the BVM, and they're not using out-of-box settings. So if you're going to calibrate them, you might as well calibrate doing perceptual matching, because that's what Sony's trying to do. And you're using a Sony BVM too. So yes, I believe it is possible. They target a different white point, and you're right. From there, the math should just adjust to the white point, which is why you do not need to test a Sony TV using Judd-Voss offset for the entire measurement. You can double check your white point against it, but after that, it's math. So it should. Check me on that with Classy. Actually, I'll ask him if Cecil sees this. He'll let me know. Trust me, he'll be on the phone later today going, yeah, actually that's not correct. If I need to correct that, I will.
He might actually still be in the chat right now.
Oh, was he in there?
He was in there.
Classy, check me.
A little while ago. Oh, yeah, he's here he is right here. I don't know if he's responding to somebody specific. He says, yes, the S95 color is very similar to Sony. Sony in overall matches reference the best after calibration. Yeah,
but check me on that. Cecil, is it not true that they're doing perceptual matching in addition to like the measurement stuff, after the measurement stuff? I want to make sure I'm right about that. That's what I remember. But yeah, I think yes.
Cool. We got another super chat in here. It's from TomStan84. Best cinema experience, C6 or RGB TCL? Hi, Zupa Zeke. What's up?
Read it again. It was what against the what?
So what's the best cinema experience, the C6 or the RGB TCL? I imagine like the X11L, because there's a lot of RGB TCLs. But if they're talking like maybe like the entry level RGB,
I mean,
because that would be closely compared to C6, right?
So they're two different kind of experiences. If you're saying cinema, it's the LG, just based on the fact that it has perfect black levels. And so if you're for this cinema experience, you're either in a very dim or completely dark room. So it has the true black levels. Also, what was the other thing I was going to say? Most stuff is in DCI-P3. So the closer to accuracy we can get to that matters, in my opinion. The X11L, like, it's a waste of horsepower if you're going to put it in a dark room, in my opinion. Because those highlights are
bright,
dude. Like when we went and saw
problem.
This thing in Vivid at the TCL event, we're like, okay, hold on. I think we figured out what too far is. You know what I mean? Like the thing is this: if the highlight is tiny, and I mean tiny, cool, drive that thing to 10,000 nits. But if it gets too big and there's more than one on the screen at the same time, like Zeke and I were both, okay, stop.
And it was dark in there.
Yeah. Black velvet shades and the whole nine. There was nothing going on in that room except the TVs. And there were a few of them, and it still blinded us. Next. Okay. Sorry.
So we're looking at the 10-minute mark if you want to stop at noon. But There's also it says, Caleb, should I just do the first software update on my TV or avoid software updates altogether?
Oh, there's no one size fits all answer to that. I'm sorry. It comes down to you doing some research. Honestly, I would probably use AI chat like ChatGPT or Perplexity, or even Gemini's working better these days. I would use AI chat and specifically tell it to look for your model TV and discussion around the benefits and drawbacks of firmware updates for that TV. Because as we know, sometimes a TV gets an update and some things get better and other things get nerfed, and it's different across all of them. There are TV, I would say the first update's important because I think I'm tuning into what you're saying. The TV comes out, it's not perfect. They learn about the issues. They do a firmware update and software update in some cases to make it better. And usually that's a net benefit. After that, who knows? I would just check. I would check the forums and find out what people's experiences have been, and go based off that. No one size fits all answer. Sorry about that.
Yeah, good question though.
Yeah.
So would it be possible, this is from Fuji Brat, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Would it be possible for TCL and Hisense to also add or also send us non-US models for review in the future, flagships? I'm sure a lot of people in these markets look forward to your thoughts too.
No, they can't because they don't get them. And get so I could, if I asked the people who do get them in those regions, we're talking about international shipping, ridiculously expensive. They won't do it. I get what you're saying, but honestly, you're going to need to go with a reviewer in your region. If you're in the UK, go with Vincent. If you're, I don't know who is available in Australia or anywhere in Africa, or Europe. So go with those local reviewers. Find somebody that you trust, because no, I can't get them. Next.
All right. So it looks like we got a question here. Let me see. So this is a comment from the hookup. It's not necessarily a question. It says, I think more people need to be talking about how screen sizes interact with nit brightness. When you have a 65-inch doing 500 nits, that's totally different thing than a 115-inch doing 500 nits.
Yep. 100%. First of all, did you say that was from the hookup?
Yep.
I want to talk to you about that huge shootout that you did with all of those sound bars plus the Sony Trio. I think that would be fun. I want to pick your brain on that because I'll be transparent. I don't 100% understand some things, and I may not agree with you, but that's fine. That's okay. But I'd love to chat. Now, to answer your question, 100%, I think we should be talking about that more. I do mention it from time to time, that the bigger the TV, the brighter, like if I measure you've seen it, like that 10% window at, let's say 1,000 nits is way brighter on an 85 than it is a 65. And so, but the thing is I mean, if you're watching hockey, a lot of full screen white. That's why I look at the full screen white brightness and I go, okay, what kind of difference are we really talking about here? Because in HDR, only the highlights should be getting to that level. And that's why the TCL X11L can be brutal in a dark room, is because even the small stuff is bright, right? Yeah. So I think, maybe we should talk about that a little bit more, but I think we need to do it in a way that makes sense for the consumer. Like, how's it going to impact you, if at all? And if so, why? Cool. Great question, by the way. I love that.
So here's something slightly audio related. This is from P. Lopez, 2099. I know audio is super subjective, but I'd love to know what soundbar and sub I should get for the Sony Bravia 8 in your opinion on the TV. Love from Spain.
Oh. Okay, here's the thing. I'm sorry to put on that face. I hate these questions because I don't have enough information, because I want to answer you.
Right.
And I don't have enough information. And then I have to ask for more. And then I have to wait for you to give it to me. And then, look, the Sony can act as a center channel. Just don't with that. If I set up a Bravia quad system, theater quad. If I set up a quad, I do not use the Sony as a center channel at all. I feel like the Phantom Sender's better. in that particular case. So if you want to stick with Sony, the Theater Quad, I think is the way to go. The highest end soundbar may sound better this year than past, but I have not tested many of those, so I'm not going to weigh in on them. I will say that Samsung kills it every year with the 990, whatever. We're on 990H now, Q990H, if I'm not mistaken. It kills it every freaking year. A Sony, a Sennheiser Ambio Max is also a really great choice. But yeah, there are so many. What do you want? You want a big ass subwoofer? You want a smaller one? Do you want it to be big, bold, and loud, or do you want it to sound a little bit better for music? Do you want the simplicity but also restrictions of a Sonos system? If you came into me at the electronics store and I was the salesman, I start with a million questions to understand what your needs are. I listen to understand, and then I present some options for you and explain what they're going to do for you. And I just can't do anything else here. I hate one size fits all answers.
Yeah, so we got about 4 minutes. So maybe ask them, maybe ask the chat, maybe to send us whatever quick questions you got, and we can try to just do like a.
We will do rapid fire. Will you get mad at me if we go like 5 or 10 over?
No.
Because
give people what they want.
Zeke's the boss today, and we got to get him out of here at 2, and we got to be sensitive to that. We have a big thing to do today, September 1st, y'all. If you didn't hear me say it at the beginning, September 1st. Next, let's go rapid fire.
Rapid fire. I'll see what we got. So, what products coming this fall are you most excited about?
This fall, nothing that comes to mind. Nothing comes to mind that I'm super. Well, that's not true. Caleb, I can't tell you.
Caleb, I'm your favorite cousin, neighbor, or best friend. Do you suggest I buy the Hisense UR9S?
Oh, if you were my cousin, neighbor, or best friend. What was the question? What?
Do you suggest I buy the Hisense UR9S?
S?
I don't know what that is.
I'm not sure what TV you're talking about. I liked the UR9. It tested well in the versus with TCL. And I mean, it's a quality TV. I'm still going through these. Look, I mean, like Hisense has been killing it on the performance to price ratio. If you dig into the nitty gritty, you'll find that it veers from accuracy, but most people love it. Yeah. We have friends and family come through here and they're like, wow, didn't know it could do that, a TV. Okay, next.
If you could bring back any electronics company of the past, who would you bring back and why?
I don't know. The brand names are still around, but they're not the same as they were. I miss. I don't know. I'm sorry. You got me stumped. I can't think of it right now.
That's too quick.
I liked Sharp. I liked how they were pushing the edge of the envelope and trying new things, even if they didn't work out well. I miss Pioneer. Oh, you know what? There we go. Pioneer. I want legit Pioneer back. I want Pioneer Audio to be back from the original people who are making it. Their car stereos are still fine. I have one. It's great. But I miss them being in TV. They quit at Plasma. I wish Pioneer was more involved into today's audio set. Not the number one, but that's one.
So this one keeps coming in. Sorry, we didn't catch it yet. So which is a good TV? The TCL QM7L 65-inch versus the Bravia 5 65-inch?
I haven't seen the Bravia 5.
Yeah, we haven't looked at that one yet.
I will say the better value is the TCL. The Bravia 5 might get a few things technically more correct than the TCL. And like I said, they do stuff. Sometimes they do stuff above and beyond everybody else, and that's what you're paying for with Sony. But out the door value is the TCL. I mean, I hope that's enough of an answer.
Sure. We got another super chat in from Cash My Check. You just cashed ours. Thank you so much. If there's no Sony flagship OLED in 2027, what does that mean for Sony going forward?
Oh, yeah, because of the 2-year update cycle, right? That's a great question. What would be my read on that if that happened? That's when I would be concerned about Sony pursuing OLED. They have not indicated that they're giving up on OLED. They're not. But are they going to do a flagship style OLED like they've been doing to combat against RGB and TCL's SQD? Just as another premium option, also going against Samsung and LG, who are very much in that space. I gotta believe they're doing another one next year. If they didn't, I might get a little concerned. I would be bummed out for sure.
Yeah, that would
Next.
So can you please review a kaleidoscope?
Yes, yes. The
Right
E
back.
and the K.
Check the cameras.
Okay, yeah. We're not overheating. I think we're fine.
Oh.
We still see each other.
Live.
Yep. So yes, I have the Strato E and K. You probably missed the beginning of this live stream. We talked about the death of the disc and why stuff like Kaleidoscope is being more relevant, but it needs to come down in price because not everybody can afford even the most basic one is freaking expensive, like Magnetar Blu-ray player expensive. Next.
So we got another super chat in from Dylan Troy. Parents are looking to upgrade from old 65-inch Vizio to 77-inch OLED for a mixed room viewing. I say do it, but like
that's not even a question.
Costco has a 75 or 77-inch C65 and an S90F, both the same price. Any thoughts?
Samsung.
Yeah, and this is probably late to ask, but you guys can hear me, okay, right?
I hope so. They would have said something. Us. Zeke, you're too quiet. Yeah. All right, cool. Caleb, you're too loud. Next.
Have you seen the continuous audio feature in Apple TV beta?
Oh. Yes, I have. People are upset about it because it forces Dolby MAT. And the reason it's doing that is so that they can enable the, the dropout of the signal, the black screen as you switch from source to source. I'm forgetting seamless switching or whatever the Apple calls it. Sorry, I forget. Yeah. I'm trying to remember too much right now. Yeah, a lot of people don't like that because they're not seeing Dolby Atmos on their device, even though they're getting Dolby Atmos, they don't see it. It doesn't flag the same, and so they're not seeing it on their receiver or their soundbar, and they're getting upset, thinking they're not getting what they paid for. You are, but not everybody wants that. They want a bit stream that their device decodes, and that's fair.
Cool. So I think we've got some other stuff in here, but I'm just the chat has stopped. So if you want to,
it stopped. Did you stop it?
No,
it's slowing
still going,
down.
But yeah, the questions are coming in.
A few more then, because we do have to go.
Sure. Let's see.
Much as I hate to do it, I like doing this, dude.
There's definitely
it's fun. It's challenging too. You guys are hitting me with tough ones. I got to go off the dome.
Hot seat real quick.
Yep.
So let's see. They're having some other conversations in there, so I'm trying to sift through a little bit.
And that's the other reason I like this is because you guys have those conversations.
Yeah, there's a community going on. Let me check, make sure there's no.
And I see y'all at FOMO's streams. I see you guys out there.
Okay, another one from Cash My Check. It says TCL X11L SQD or Sony Bravia 9 2 RGB. Which is the better mini LED TV?
I haven't compared the two against each other yet, and I am set to.
Yeah.
What I had to do, part of the reason why I haven't done that one already, because I consider it one of the most important ones to do. First of all, the answer is going to be what's more important to you. This TV does this. This TV does this. The reason I haven't done it is because TV brands hate it. When I do a 65 of one and an 85 of the other, it's just like, it's me. And then it's the big dominant TV. So I got 75s of both. And I'm going to do that. No answer for you yet. I won't answer until I've done it myself. I won't guess. But I will say I know that TCL is doing things a certain way. Sony's doing things a certain way. And depending on your priorities, I could go either way, probably.
Yeah. So, Caleb, can you suggest a region-free entry-level Blu-ray player for me?
No, I don't even know what's out there anymore. I think did Samsung quit? LG quit a long time ago. Oppo's out of the game. Who else is still doing? Oh, Panasonic. Whatever Panasonic's least expensive Blu-ray player is. There you go. That's easy.
That'll work.
That was easier than I thought. Next.
All right. Can you enjoy watching TV in other people's houses? Or are you judging them on their choice of TV and TV settings?
I can. So yes, I can. I know what you're talking about. Let me actually answer the question in a better way. It's a hotel where I suffer the most because now they're locking them down on motion smoothing and you can't get in the menu. Oh my God, it kills me. It kills me. I mean, sometimes I just don't watch the TV. I pull open my my MacBook
Stream on
Air
that.
and just stream on that. I'd rather watch it on a smaller screen than have motion smoothing on a bigger one. And it's marginally bigger, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you get a 65 in there and you're feeling all lux, but I hate that you can't get into the workaround. If you can plug in an HDMI cable, just it might be that a separate input doesn't have those settings forced on it. So try that. Doesn't always work.
Alrighty.
Hope that answers your question.
I think we're pretty much good.
Yeah.
It's up to you. I mean,
you know what I didn't hear is a whole lot of commentary about what we started the video, the variance in quality between TVs. Do you think it's actually a thing? What I witnessed is more prevalent. I think it is. We always knew there was variance. It's just like the degree of the variance that I don't think I was aware of.
yeah.
There's no reason to think that I had a faulty unit in this case with the second one. We saw a big difference, and I would definitely be upset if I got the second one if I was expecting the first one. I'm surprised not to hear from you guys about that. And it's okay. We got another super chat in there.
Yeah,
That's Big
Blue. Paul Poco 22. So cassette or CD decks are so ARC cassette and or CD decks dead.
I mean, they're what's the word I'm looking for? There's a lot of nostalgia around those. CDs were briefly, at least, making a surge. We did those really great portable CD players.
Oh yeah,
those were a lot of fun. They looked really cool. But the comeback is going to be in who's making the media, and I don't know how heavily the CDs are being made. I will say, I've got it right here. So. Yeah. Corey Wong, who is one of my favorite guitar players. Actually, he's one of my favorite band leaders, really. He's in Wolfpack, and he also does his own group. I mean, they released an album, CD, cassette combo. This is new. So it happens. I don't know how widespread it is.
Yep.
Next. I'm just going to give this two more minutes.
Sure.
One more answer.
So
and then I have to cut myself off.
Okay, so this one's kind of getting spammed in here, so I'll read it. My confusion. TCL C8L, LG 6 or LG C6 or Samsung RGB R85H. There's more to it.
Those are all models from outside the US.
Yeah, I don't know how we're going to answer that one.
I'm so sorry. I want to answer that question. I do. Again, I mean, I can paint in broad strokes. Wow. Broad strokes. I don't think that helps you. And I don't know about those models. Like that it would have to assume that they have the exact same performance specs and characteristics, and I don't know that they do. I know that stuff going to Europe is kneecapped even more than here in the US for eco reasons. I don't know much more beyond that. I'm sorry, I can't answer that one. And because of that, I want to try and answer another one.
All right, so we got DV2 versus DV2 Max. Is it worth the more expensive TV?
Well, that's assuming that you have to pick a much more expensive one. Brian at Brian's Tech Therapy just did a video where if his thumbnail gave everything away, and if it's true, he says Max is worth it. I haven't compared the two yet. I haven't had a Hisense up on the bench where I could go and check that out. I would even need to go and look at like what DV2 content is available. I know that it does take standard Dolby Vision content and it makes it a little bit better. I can tell you I'd want Max. If I'm going to have Dolby Vision too, I want Max. I mean, but that's just me, right? Like, I don't know what the value is to you. But off the cuff, I would want Max, but that's not a qualified statement because I haven't actually compared them yet.
So I got another question for you here. Would you ever consider doing TV wall mount recommendations, and why or why not?
I won't because okay, no, that's not true. I could make a recommendation. I have to test a bunch. What the testing parameters would be is of question. I'd have to develop a rubric for testing those.
You need designated walls. Well,
I will say that Be the Installer, is a good resource for that stuff because he's done a ton of installations and he knows which ones are reliable. And I think it might end up coming down to like the hardware that's included in the box, because outside of that, it's like, is it stable when it swivels? Is it stable when it pivots?
How heavy is your TV?
yeah, you know, otherwise it's like, does it come with really stout drywall anchors? Are they toggle bolts? Are they easy to use? I mean, no, because it's not my lane and I'm busy enough, honestly. I think there's maybe space for that, but also they're commodities now. And so it's going to be hard to find differences between the two. I'd ask an installer. And maybe we will at CEDIA. Maybe we'll be like, what's the most reliable TV mount? I just came up with an idea. We go around to people at CEDIA and ask them direct questions like we're getting right now, and just get a bunch of people from CEDIA installers giving us advice based on their installation experience. What's the best in-ceiling speaker? And no, we're not going to ask. We're going to ask installers that are attending the show, not the people exhibiting, because we know the people exhibiting are going to prop up their own stuff.
Of course,
obviously.
Of course. Alrighty. So
oh wait, one more, and then I have to cut myself off. Stop sending super chats, because if I see one come up before we go, I'm gonna feel like doing it. So stop with the super chats. Thank you for the super chats, but please stop.
This is the last super chat.
Okay.
Is HDR10 Plus advanced? Wait, advanced to enhance. Okay, is HDR10 Plus advanced to enhance HDR10 and HDR10 Plus content like DV2 Max does? I'm sorry.
They are trying to do almost the exact same thing. I mean, from the variable implementation of motion smoothing, where you get it when you need it and you don't get it when you don't want it, to optimizing tone mapping, take the ability to do more with the ambient light sensor in your room. I mean, it's basically, that's Samsung going its own road, and eschewing Dolby Vision and providing something that is of competitive performance. And ultimately, man, like, yeah, I really want to do a bunch of side-by-side comparisons to see if there's a definitive answer, like Dolby Vision Max is always doing this better, or HDR10 Plus Advanced is doing something always better. Research, man. Got to have the research, got to have the data. Yep. That's it, guys. I have to stop. We have something to do that's exciting. For September 1st. We'll be arriving in Denver when this video goes live. I think you're going to want to see it because we have an exclusive on it. The news is going to hit everywhere, but we are the only one with a certain TV, and I want y'all to see it because I think it's really important for a number of reasons. I will say right now, I think it's market shifting. I think it's going to shake some stuff up. So tune in on the September 1st. Thank you for joining us. Keep those comments coming, guys. We really appreciate the support we've gotten. There's some shifts in YouTube right now that are making it harder and harder to be successful on the platform. You know, we want to stick around for a long time. We want to keep doing this work. We want to expand and bring you more content and better content, more stylized content, more UST projector content, more audio content, dang it. And we can't do that unless we have some more resources. So just keep supporting the channel in whatever way you can. And I'm going to turn that financial support into the better, more varied content, and hopefully more valuable to you as well. I'm excited to be doing this. Zeke seems excited.
Of course.
Yeah.
Trying to play it cool right now, though.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, just a million different ways to say thank you for supporting us. And we are going to try and make your investment, give as big a return on your investment as we possibly can. From super chats to buying from our affiliate links to buying me a coffee, or what's the other one that I'm doing? It doesn't matter. It's down in the description.
Yeah, it's down there.
Find the description. There's all kinds of ways to support us. With your views, though, that's enough. If you don't have money, or you're tossing your money to YouTube Premium, totally get it. Just watch the content.
Just pull up.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
Thanks, you guys.
Yeah, thanks again.
We're gonna take off. It's gonna be an awkward sign off while Zeke figures out how to stop this stream.
Still going.
Yeah.